Yay! Hi everybody. Hi to nobody watching yet. Oh, one person's watching yet. Yes. So,
yeah,
welcome.
So if you watch tales, you're used to us being late all the time, every day.
So this is a special edition of the IA Comics Show where we have Mr. Mike Pellerito. He's over there. He's the one with the mask on.
Hi.
And then we have Mr. Brother Bear, Marc Puddles, over there. and then we have the undisembodied voice of Ben. Ben's
Hello.
there. Hi.
Hey, Ken Barnes is here.
We have everybody with us today. So we thought we'd do something silly and fun, and Marc ruined it already. We're going to do an Ask Us Anything question. So anything edition of this show. So we have to wait till someone asks us a question before we can even start anything.
And Franco, this is on our website. On our Facebook page, right?
Yes, and on the YouTube channel as well.
I did not know we had one.
Yes. So we have both happening. So there. We're going to do an Ask Us Anything question. So anything edition of this show. So we have to wait till someone asks us a question before we can even start anything. How did you do that?
Marc looks on
our Facebook page, right?
Yes, and on the YouTube channel as well. That's awesome. I love the delay. Yes. So we have both happening.
Oh, that's
there.
fine.
We're going to do an Ask Us Anything question. So anything edition of this show. So we have to wait till someone asks us a question before we can start it.
Yeah.
This is working out so well. It's working out so well.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody, just bear with us for a second.
Oh, this is good.
That's gonna close. I'm gonna be somebody's voice.
Okay. Logging out.
Ditko, give me a half hour.
I have no idea what anybody's saying. This is the best version of this show we've ever done.
This is why you and I hate games. Well, we just laugh at disasters.
Everything just fell apart. I love the fact that we planned this out ahead of time, and we took so much time to do this and prep for this. I love it. I love it. Where did Puddles go? We need Puddles back.
I don't know. He's cutting out like crazy.
Should one of us be monitoring the feed?
Yeah.
We. Huh? It's we.
I like it's just dead silence. It's awesome. All right, so we're going to start in with questions because
no, nothing makes it.
I can't hear anything anybody's saying.
Yeah, Franco, because we weren't saying it. Franco,
you can't tell. Our mouths are moving.
Franco, you're cutting it in and out pretty bad.
What'd you say?
It's such a freaking delay.
I said you're cutting in and out. It sounds like you're order fries. That's what it sounds like.
I didn't hear what you said. It sounded like you were going order of fries.
No, yeah, right. Go on.
Order of fries.
He's almost smiling now.
Where did Marc go? Where did Puddles go? We need Puddles in this.
Oh, well, I'm not answering to that, so it's okay.
All right. Yeah. So listen, carry on yourselves for a couple seconds.
And
He's out.
Whoever got the better phone needs to be the one that.
All right, whatever you guys like.
Probably mine.
So let's use yours.
How about now? Is this better?
Is he still there?
No, he's the circling, loading screen of death.
It's a good thing we're good at other things. I'm just saying.
You missed the best conversation.
Andy's present.
We should do a weird little thing. To screw with.
The bird flies behind us.
The face. The Franco face.
Okay, I'm not frozen. I heard everything you said, but in a delay.
Close out of yours.
All right, goodbye. I've been kicked out.
Okay.
I've been kicked out.
All right. Okay, so I think we almost have this working now.
Dude, that's better.
How are there two of us?
He has to close out of it.
I thought I closed out of it.
Okay, that was weird.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So, welcome to the Yaya Comic Show. Here's the opening again, in case you missed it. Hello, and welcome to the Ask Us Anything edition of Yaya Comic Show. For those of you paying attention, that's the second time we've started.
Order of fries.
So, on the other side over there, we have Mike Pellerito. Say hi, Mike Pellerito.
Hi, Mike Pellerito.
And then next to him, we have the embodied voice of Ben.
Hello.
And then somewhere over there is Puddles. Puddles, say hi.
Puddles is not
refuses to
amused.
say hi. So anyway, we have questions because we've taken so long to get started that there are many questions. So let's start, shall we?
Does anyone know how to operate a phone? Have you guys heard of technology before?
Donato asks, who's the best tech hero besides Cyborg in the DC universe?
Okay, I can't hear Puddles or anything he's saying, and we're going by the questions that are up on the screen, not the one he's shouting out from the front of the store.
He's so upset.
When is Spaceship #1 coming out? The answer to that question is I have no idea.
What was
Next
the what?
question. Saki the Sock Puppet. Can I collab with you guys one day? Mike, you want to take that one?
You're here right now. Enjoy.
Yeah, you're collaborating right now.
We're going to do Spaceship #1. Have it out by the end of the show. It's going to be one bad book.
Ben, this one's
You'll
for you.
enjoy the sheer amazement of it.
And Arthur, the answer is 3 chords. 3 chords of wood.
3 chords. See, we're getting through these real fast.
A woodchuck, all the wood that a woodchuck could chuck, a woodchuck, wood.
Giuseppe Donato says, which is the best tech superhero outside of Cyborg in DC? Does
Marc
Puddles
just
want to take that one?
Mark just asked that question.
Mark says steel.
Steal what?
I'll agree with
A
that.
book? Steal a book. Take a book.
Best tech-based hero.
Outside of Cyborg.
I'm going to say Cyborg.
Beetle. That's another option. Or
Ooh, the Beatles?
The Beatles.
Aztec, if you want to go
Aztec was tech? I thought he was magic.
ish.
Excuse me. He has tech in his name. Aztec. I don't know where the tech comes from.
I didn't think he was all that cracked up to be, but I don't know.
I'm going to think...
I'll
So
go with
Madeline
Steele.
says, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Madeline, I don't think there's a question in there.
No, but you are correct, Madeline.
It's, yeah. Puddles.
Kevin Barnes says, Puddles. Kevin, I don't think that's a question either.
Someone questions it.
Hello from Barney's mom in New Jersey. Franco, how's life with the native these days? Pretty good. Say hi to Bertie. Hopefully Bernie's watching. Life is pretty good with the native. She kicked me out a while ago, so this is all good. Are you drying tears or are you dying?
I was
there?
crying tears. I didn't know what else to do.
Thomas says Puddles with no exclamation point whatsoever.
Thank goodness. We don't need the points.
No, he is clear, and you guys are cutting in and out. I don't know what he's talking about. Fries. Now Franco's new name is Order of Fries. No, it's not as good as Puddles, though, Joe. I'm gonna say that. Guys, what do you think?
You need something more.
Yeah, it needs more.
Yeah.
Like Puddles is just a statement, especially when you put 3 exclamation points behind it. He can log in here anytime he wants. I just want all the viewers to know that. He just refuses to do that.
There's a delay.
There's a delay.
He's a delay.
He logged in 45 minutes ago, like everybody else. They're just trying to wait for the show to get good.
Well,
I love that all the people here are tuning in to see if we're actually selling any comic books, and we're not in this edition. Not at all.
Well, I got Watchmen right here for 15. It's nope, it was bought. Never mind.
Thomas asked, any cheesecakes? I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Sure.
well, there was
Sure.
we do have a question from Socky the Sock Puppet. Ever worked with wrestlers before to make a wrestling comic?
Okay, so are you going to be Puddles too? Because we're going in order that the questions are appearing on my screen, not yours.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Ben
The
looks like
Stark is
he's in a
strong
pic-
with this one.
the way the books line up. It looks like you're in a picture-in-picture, Ben. Can you stop being a picture-in-a-picture?
That's-
Cut it out, Ben. You're ruining it.
I don't know how to do that.
Everything was going fine until you pictured and pictured, Ben.
I love that Kevin Barnes is asking another viewer how his day was on our screen time. I love that.
Wow.
That's fun.
This show is tanking. When the audience starts talking because the people on stage suck so bad.
We've lost 16 viewers so far. Let's see if we can get it down to 0. Joe is apparently doing well because he has fries. I'm going to go with that one.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
Oh, that's appealing.
Oh. So he thinks it's a cool intro.
Yeah, it is
good.
good. How'd you do that?
I don't know.
Did someone make it? Did you
There's a
make
hell
it?
of a lag on this.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, boy. Wow, what an intro.
Sam says, what an intro. Getting a lot of into... He will answer the puddles. I guarantee it. You ask him, he will answer. Okay, here we go. Do you think the new distro for DC has told them no delays on their books?
No. I don't think they have the power to do that.
Wow. These answers are direct. We're getting through these questions like you wouldn't believe.
I think DC wants to have them on time. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, I think their goal is always to have books that are
Yeah.
not late.
Yeah.
Well, who said that?
I don't know anymore. I'm so confused.
Oh, well, no, Mark brought up a good point. I think the goal of any publisher is to get their books out on time. The goal of every distributor is to get to the shops on time. But I think with DC being part of this distributor, am I wrong there?
They don't know. They don't own any of it. They forced
Oh.
the new creation.
Well, yeah. So I guess, yeah, they're probably going to say no delays, but there's so many factors that go into that. So that
We're in a worldwide pandemic, so like any books we get right now, it's pretty cool.
it's kind of a bonus.
And if not, Mark sells them every day about 5:15 for an hour or so on Facebook Live. He starts his videos about 5 minutes late, but sometimes we start ours 15 minutes late and have complete technical difficulties.
And two intros too.
That's to make it twice as interesting.
So Madeline asked, if I've never watched any of the Marvel animated series, which one should I watch first? I'm going to go with X-Men.
Oh, yeah. X-Men Evolution, I would say.
Nah, you're wrong. Ooh, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I would start with that one.
Yes,
That was where I
agreed.
started. So.
Yeah.
I just watched Hulk versus,
Oh, how was that?
and I didn't catch the first half, but I caught the one where it's Hulk versus Wolverine.
Mhm.
It was surprisingly good. It was very entertaining. I dug it.
I haven't seen. I want to watch a whole bunch of those different ones. There's the Planet Hulk one and a bunch
Yeah.
that I just haven't seen.
Planet Hulk came on right after, but I had to do something else, and I was upset about it. I wanted to
Yeah,
watch cartoons.
I got to catch up on a lot of stuff. I'm still watching some of the Marvel live shows that I haven't seen. I'm in the middle of the Jessica Jones one, so I watched the first season of Daredevil. I'm catching up. I'm going for it.
When does Falcon Winter Soldier come out?
When they're done with it.
Next year?
Yeah, they had to push everything back.
Wow, man, I was hoping.
No.
Oh well.
All right. John wants to know, what is the most valuable comic you own or have ever owned?
Are you looking to buy it, John? Because that's entirely possible.
I did insider trading. So before the Katie Keene show came out on CW, I went and bought a couple copies of graded Katie Keene's #1. So it's maybe $1,000 or $2,000, nothing crazy. And then there's other stuff I've had over the years, but I don't think more than $1,000 or so.
I'm trying to think of what I had. I had the first appearance of the Punisher.
Ooh. Did you have that as a reader or a collector?
As a reader.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that would be the one, the most expensive one.
I was never a collector. I've always kind of read.
Yeah. Me too.
Well, I read them. I just happen to have them. That's why.
Yeah. What's that book go for now?
I don't know. I gave it to Marc to open up the first store, so I have no idea what he sold it for.
I'm sorry to bring up sad memories.
I know. I'm very sad. Giuseppe says maybe Oracle. Going back to other questions, I'm sure.
That's not a bad question.
The tech.
Wait, is Oracle back now or out? What is it? She's out.
Yeah, but there's
Oracle was Batgirl, Barbara Jones.
Yeah, that was a brilliant transition to the character.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I hated the story, but
I was sad that she went back to Batgirl almost because we had a different Batgirl, and I wanted Oracle to stay.
There were two other Batgirls in her Oracle time.
Yeah,
you had Cassandra Cain, and you also had Stephanie Brown.
Yep.
Right.
And both of them were really
compelling and good. Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
During the No Man's Land.
Oh, yes.
She was the first Batgirl, and then Cassandra had done that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and the first appearance of Punisher, I completely forgot. That was a major plot point in the movie Coyote Ugly.
I forgot to watch Coyote Ugly.
You are not.
I'm never gonna watch Coyote Ugly. So, Saki the Sock Puppet asks, "Ever worked with wrestlers before to make a wrestling comic?" The answer is yes. The Christopher Daniels and Kazarian book. But you knew that, Saki. I think you knew that.
I didn't.
John Suntress says Jesus, because he probably was watching our Follies before. So I'm going to talk to him about that later. Giuseppe concurs. It is going well.
John is never going to interview me ever again after this.
Thomas is still eating his cheeseburger. And I talked to him this morning at like 10 a.m. and he was just starting his cheeseburger.
Wow. That's a lot of nibbling.
Sorry, just check the Amazing Spider-Man number 129, first appearance of Punisher. At grade 9.8, it's going for 11,500.
Wow.
Wow, that was a poor choice on my part to let that go, right?
Ben really was efficient there in sticking a needle in your heart.
Wow.
If you feel any better, his version was only about a 4.0. So.
Oh, 4.0.
Who said that?
Marc. He's in the corner. It's very warm over there. He's sweating. It's like puddles. And
wait, 4.5? 4.0?
4.0? It was better than that. You don't remember 8 years ago. Anyway, Giuseppe asked, which is your favorite Iron Man armor? My favorite is the one where he punched. You remember that issue where he punched the Hulk? And then all of his armor fritzed out, and they had to get Ant-Man to go in and unlock his armor? That was a good one. I like that armor.
I like the red and yellow with the circle.
Yeah, he's got the fins on his shoulders. I like those.
Yeah, Marc saying Silver Centurion and Extremis. Yeah, I would have to go with the armor that he wore right after Armor Wars.
Was that the red and silver?
Red and gold.
Red and gold.
Silver Centurion.
Yeah,
that's where I read heavily. That's where the captain showed up and all that.
Yeah,
that was
that was the armor that got destroyed at the end of Armor Wars, and then he had to put on the new one.
That's good. Someone just stole Iron Man armor, I guess in a preview or something I saw.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love those storylines. Stingray was in there, right?
Yeah,
it was a good character.
I've never been like a real big fan of Iron Man, but I did enjoy that run. I think it was Bob Layton was on that run.
You're right.
And David Michelini?
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
How do you pronounce that?
I think you're close.
Yeah.
Michelini, yeah.
I think they ironically, I think they got Iron Man correct more so in the movies than the way he was in the comics. He really wasn't, I don't know, likable.
In
the comic. The movie, it was perfect.
But they put him through so much stuff in the comics. A lot of stuff they really don't talk about that much anymore. They rarely bring it up. Things like the whole AA thing.
Yeah.
Armor Anonymous?
May as well be.
He was the only guy in armor, and he has to go to meetings for it. Sam, is the Joker in the Court of Owls at the end of Detective Comics 1022 or in the Graveyard of the Talons? I'm going to say I have no idea what he's talking about.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words.
Mark, we need a.
What was the question?
The question is the Joker in the Court of Owls at the end of Detective Comics 1022 or in the Graveyard of the Talons? I don't know if any of those words make sense.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. We're going to need a rephrase on that.
Yeah. Ask it again. We'll get to it in about an hour.
Can you
As
use
we're
that
going
in a
down the
sentence?
list. Well, oh yeah, comics will they have their own animated series someday? I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
With
Do you
wrestling.
have any Avengers? Yes.
Moving on.
Which character can you not stand? Right now, Puddles is annoying me. How about you guys?
Charles Xavier.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's kind of a know-it-all, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't a huge X-Men fan. But the way he kind of evolved, and Cyclops is like a close second.
I got to say, of the X-Men, Cyclops has got to be my least favorite.
They went from two characters I truly thought were amazing to two characters that I didn't want to watch anymore.
Well, and again, I think it goes down to they put these people through so much stuff. It's like at some point, you're just going to quit. I'm done with it.
Speaking of Cyclops, I thought he was such a lame character to begin with, but I kind of liked his arc as he, fell in love with Jean and just, all that stuff. So I liked him more later than I did at the beginning. At the beginning, I was like, this guy's just full of himself, and all he could do is look at things,
I loved him taking a leadership role, being probably the least impressive power-wise of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. To me, that made him more interesting because, Jean Grey should have been the next in charge, but she didn't have the personality at that point. So he became it de facto, even though he could look at things.
Right.
That was it. Like, I have part of Superman's powers. I'll lead.
Kinda.
But even though they had that whole arc with him and Jean Grey, and then she became, the Phoenix, and then died or whatever, and then they did that whole thing with the White Queen. I thought that was really interesting too.
Yeah, it's just creepy.
Yeah, I like creepy. Ask Puddles.
Oh,
sorry.
Would
What
you
is
make
your-
a Puddle?
No,
Would
I'm
you
not
make a
gonna.
Puddles comic?
No, I would not. Kevin asked, what is your favorite current ongoing comic? I don't know that I read anything enough to.
Yeah,
Mark's saying Once in Future. I'm right now for me. Once in Future. Kieran Gillen is nailing that book.
Have you read that?
Awesome.
I have not.
Oh my God, it's great.
Is it really?
It's really, yeah. It's you know the premise, right? Marc told you.
No, I wish I had somebody in a comic shop that I could go to that would recommend these things to me.
If you were nicer to him, he might be nicer to you.
One of the things that I really enjoy about the book is, it's the whole it's another take on King Arthur and the Arthurian legend and stuff like that. But the characters are the ones that make it really interesting.
Yeah.
It's not just the writing of okay, this is a whole new universe and a whole new idea. It's you start really caring about the characters. I love the art on it. And I love the fact that it went from a 6-issue limited series. All of a sudden it was now we're ongoing. Cool, bring it on.
Oh, from DC, Batman Universe.
Is it ongoing?
I think it's ongoing. I don't know. Is Batman Universe ongoing?
No,
Is it a miniseries? What was it? 6 issues? 6 issues. That was
It's
good.
still a current comic,
It is
and it's ongoing currently.
It's really good. Nick Darrington art. What is it? Bendis writing?
Yeah.
And then it's a Batman team up book. And then what else I was reading?
See, that's awesome. I miss Brave and the Bold. I miss DC Comics.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I miss Marvel Team Up.
I'm trying to think what I'm reading Marvel. Chip stuff, but I've only read the first couple of Daredevil. I'm not far into it, but it's cool.
Marauders.
I haven't read yet.
Of the X books, I got to say that's the best. That's the one that's probably that's entertained me the most. I like the X-Men book, but X-Men kind of feels right now like I'm telling you this story so I can tell you the next story. It's not I can't wait to read it. But Marauders is really
Did
that's coming up.
those new House of X, Powers of X come out in trade yet, or they just?
No, it's in the previews order that we just put in, so it's August.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm wondering right at this point? Why Mark asked me and you to be on here when Ben is clearly the one with all the answers and much smarter than all of us? That's what I'm wondering.
He clearly is smarter than
Oh, I don't
most
know about
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, this video was Franco and Mike,
that.
I thought I heard a puddle. What was that?
Oh no, I just took a sip of water.
Oh, there you go. So Sam wants to know when is Saga coming back? I'm going to say at some point.
It was supposed to
It's back fall.
supposed to be in the fall.
Yeah.
Whether or not, pandemic.
Yeah. Okay.
This is, I gotta say, with the mask on, it's kind of hard to. I feel like I'm talking with my hands a lot more, so hey, look, it's me.
Yeah. It
Well,
works. Keep it going.
I'm shining beautiful smiles your way, Franco.
I see every one of them.
Yeah.
Kevin asks, is there anyone in the industry that if you met them, you'd be starstruck? At this point, no. I've met pretty much everybody. The only one I was really kind of a little starstruck with was Stan Lee when I met him. But that's because it was Stan Lee. But anybody else I've been kind of cool, casual with. I don't really get starstruck very easily.
I probably would. I don't know who.
I feel like I don't know. There are plenty of people that would.
How about now? Now you're meeting me. Are you starstruck?
Oh, I think.
Why are you
I think
taking the
Franco's
comics with?
mostly
What's that bottom one?
What's
that bottom one?
These two.
What's that bottom
Again,
one?
there are a lot of people in the industry I haven't met yet. There are people that I think I probably would be rather starstruck by, and I don't know exactly who they would be until I meet them. Well, that was a non-answer.
There you go. Kevin also asks, is that the disembodied puddled voice of Mark? Giuseppe says, Franco, would you ever do a Strange Academy cover if approached to do it? I would if I knew what a Strange Academy was.
Scotty Young written series at Marvel.
Oh yeah, no, I do know what that is.
I want to read that. Do you have it?
No. Yeah.
When you reorder, I want one. That's the Doctor Strange School of Magical Medicine and Puddle.
Yeah. No, I know. I
said
kind
you
of
weren't
blanked
going
on
to
it for a
reorder
while.
it. I don't need to be nice.
I think if approached, I would, but I think Scotty's doing a great job. He doesn't need me to sell covers. He's fine. That guy. What is the best comic-based video game of all time? Dungeons and Dragons.
Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man.
Okay, Mark saying most recent Spider-Man.
Capcom Marvel. Does that count?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah. I'm gonna change my answer to his.
Yeah,
That was a good
one. Video game, so I'm not a good judge.
Yeah.
Capcom Marvel. Love that.
Joker is
I've heard a lot
standing in a room at the end of issue 1022 of Detective Comics. Was he recruiting the Court of Owls or bringing their soldiers, the Talons, back to life?
Yes.
I'm going to go with I don't know.
Mark,
Pulse?
does that make sense?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, no idea.
We're going to have to read it again and get back to you, Sam. I'm sorry.
That's a book worth reading again, though. That was.
Yeah.
I'm at least
Excellent.
22 issues behind.
So Donato wants to say, just want to say congratulations for being able to keep your locations open. Thank you. I will take all the credit, but all of that deservedly goes to Puddles.
Yeah, I gotta
Absolutely,
say,
Mark.
Yeah, that is mostly Mark. That is all Mark, really.
And you get a big chunk of it too, Mr. Ben.
And you know what, Donato? Thank you, and thank you all. Thank you all the viewers out there, everybody that's tuning in the live sales, and thank you for making them entertaining. Because I know Mark and I, whenever we're doing these things, we're laughing as much as you guys are. Maybe we're maybe a little more stressed than you guys at that point, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for us.
I do look forward to watching the live sales every night, and then if
so
I
do
miss
I.
them, I do watch them later.
Yeah.
I watch them later just because
I do want to say that it is because of you guys, you guys out there watching that we're able to do this. And seriously, like 98% of the credit goes to Mark. Without him, we would have closed doors as soon after it started if it wasn't for him.
Mark Hammond is my favorite tech hero.
Yep.
Yes.
And Ben is my favorite Robin.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Kevin Barnes concurs. Once and Future is excellent. And then
Kevin,
Madeline
we're glad that we
says,
turned you on to that.
Ben is clearly the Veronica Mars of this gathering. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Madeline, just when I think you can't get any better, you do something like that, I have a tear.
Does that make me the Buffy then? I don't understand. I don't
You're
know.
Angel.
Ooh, I'm dark and brooding? No.
Yeah.
Ben, I agree. Ben must be protected at all costs.
He must.
Yeah. Sergio from over on YouTube says, "Hey Franco, are you guys going to be at Oh Yeah Comics tomorrow? I'm going. I love comics and I'm an aspiring artist. Possibly. Mark, when am I coming to the store?
It depends on which all yeah.
Oh yeah, which eye
Oh,
are
yeah.
you speaking of?
Depends on which one you're talking about. If you're talking about New York, yes, I will be there tomorrow.
Tomorrow
I think.
at 7 for the giant,
Yes.
super spectacular, amazing,
Yeah.
uncanny web
That's
of
right.
store
We're-
sale.
We're gonna be auctioning off some stuff from Adam Hughes, so I will be there.
It
And,
doesn't really
maybe-
get better.
Maybe Pellerito will be there too.
Do you want
we'll
me to
see.
come by again? I feel like this video is a disaster and maybe I should stay away for a while.
I think if we do enough of them, that they'll actually be better. So everybody
Well-
should tune in tomorrow and see what happens.
These videos are so bad, I'm probably going to play in traffic after this because,
I'll be slinging hash. So
wow.
Did any of you meet Jack Kirby and/or Steve Ditko? Yes and
Really?
no. I did meet Jack Kirby, but I
Nice.
never met Steve Ditko. I was at a convention very early on in my whole journey of going to conventions. It was like one of the first or second ones I did, and I saw him standing near a doorway. He was waiting for his wife because they were leaving, and like the whole starstruck thing. It's never been a thing for me. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Jack Kirby. So I'm gonna go say hi, and I did. And I went right up to him and I said, Mr. Kirby? And he said, yes. And I said, I just want to say I'm a big fan and it's a pleasure to meet you. And then I walked away afterwards. So, but I did meet him and I did get to shake his hand.
When you walked away, he made the same noise.
He did. But at me. He's like, that
Yeah.
kid? Yeah. He definitely did that, yeah. So how about you guys? You never met Jack or Steve?
I never met either one. I did meet Stan.
Mhm.
And that was pretty cool. He came to the Archie booth. We were doing a project with him, and I was standing at the booth, right? And it's packed. It was one of those moments at New York Comic Con where there's so many people. You're like, I can't believe it. And I remember thinking, there's no way they can actually pack more people in. And then I check my phone for messages, and then I look up, and there's 100 times more people. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then Stan goes, hey, I'm looking for, and I'm like, oh, hi, Stan. And he's like, are you Mike? I'm like, yes, I am. And he goes, I was supposed to meet you guys, and here's this guy. And I'm like, holy cow, this is Stan. And I was like, man, there's a lot of people. He goes, happens a lot.
Yeah. I've met Stan a couple times, and the first time I met him was at a party, and he was being whisked away.
Yeah.
So I said, Stan Lee, Mr. Lee, it's a pleasure to meet you. And he stuck out his hand and he shook my hand. He goes, it's a pleasure to have been met. And I'm like, wow, he's got canned answers.
Yeah.
And then, but they work. He's got
Yeah.
he's got those canned answers, and they just work for him because it's Stan. And and then the second time I met him, we were introduced at a party, and the guy says, Stan, these guys, they want to meet you. And he looked over his shoulder, and he was busy with someone, and gave like the okay in a second type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he was done, he turned back and he said, these guys, really want to meet you. They work for DC Comics. When he heard DC Comics, he turned around and ignored us for like another 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow, this is great, But then he finally came back and he goes, all right, tell me again, why do I want to meet you guys? And I said, Mr. Lee, if it makes you feel any better, since I work for DC, I get all my DC Comics comped, but I buy all my Marvel comics. And he patted me on the shoulder and he goes, I knew I liked you, kid. Now let's talk. So I'm like, all right, that was cool. So those are my stories. I was sticking to them.
Have you ever been blown away by someone in the industry that loves your work?
Yeah, a couple times.
Give me.
Ask him about chicken.
Shaken?
Yeah, Howard
Chaykin?
Chaykin. Howard Chaykin was one, and
You need him on a TV show, by the way, because he's a funny
God.
human being.
I will tell the story, but I'm gonna give you guys a warning. There is graphic language, as there always is with Howard Chaykin.
Not with Howard Chaykin. I can't
So,
imagine.
If there's any kids watching, please avert your eyes or ears or whatever.
Use like a frickin' stick.
So I was walking by his table and I said, hi, Mr. Chaykin, pleasure to meet you. He goes, you do that Tiny Titans book? And I'm like, yes, sir. He goes, come here. And he had come here. And I walked over and he goes, this fucking book. Who the fuck do you think you are? This book is great. I give it to my kids. They fucking love it. And I'm like I thought he was going to yell at me. But he starts telling me how great the book is. And that, like, my heart was like, because I thought he was going to, like, yell at me in the middle of this convention. But he did, sort of, but to tell me how much he liked the book.
Yeah, he's great. He's really
and
great.
then the other person that kind of blew me away was Mike Mignola, because we did work for him because he wanted to do an itty bitty Hellboy. So that when I got that call, it blew me out of the water. And then the other one was Art Adams.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm a huge fan of Art Adams, and I went over to go introduce myself at a convention, and I said, "Hi, I'm Franco, and I work on Tiny Titans." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, hold on a second!" And he knocks on his table, and out from under his table comes his daughter, because she was under there coloring.
Yeah.
And he introduces me to his daughter and says, "This is the guy that does our favorite comic," and he starts quoting pages of Tiny Titans to me, like especially with the penguin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm in such a surreal moment because I'm standing there watching Art Adams quote the words that I wrote out of a book. And that's kind of surreal. I don't get starstruck, but I get kind of like flabbergasted when stuff like that happens. Yeah. It's wild. How about you?
Yeah, but it's not my work so much, but it's like it's thank you for like being the person holding the torch and pushing it forward and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, it's a job. Like, but I try not to. It's just you see how much stuff means to people, and it's hard not to get choked up. I learned how to read, or I read these to my kids, or I read these to my dad. There's the one story that like always sticks with me. Is there someone I know in the industry? She works for libraries, different things. And she goes, I forget how she phrased it. Her dad was sick and had dementia. And she said that children can, through cartooning, just a smiley face, they will respond positively to that. So she goes, I wonder if that works in reverse. And her dad used to read comics as kids, and Archie was one of the favorite ones. So she pulls out an Archie comic to this guy, older man, his mind is failing him, and he sees Archie and goes, oh, I remember this kid. I remember these kids. They were fun. And she was able to reconnect with her dad reading comic books, and he enjoyed it. So like stuff like that is just mind-blowing.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it. Let's see here. Actually, it's Sebastian Franco. Remember, I was asking Art and you questions in your drawing. Yes, I do remember you, Sebastian. But you're under your dad's nickname there. I remember that as well. Madeline says, if you could get a commission from any living artist of any character, what would it be? Ooh, I've gotten a couple. One of my all-time favorite ones is I have a commission from Tom Rainey of Aquaman and Hawkman, and those are my favorite characters. So I would go with the same two. I would go either I would either get a Batgirl, because those are my three favorite to get: Batgirl, Hawkman, and Aquaman. So in a world where I can get whatever I want and have the money, I would get Art Adams to do a Hawkman, Aquaman, Batgirl piece for me.
Wow.
I would go with an Adam Hughes, Captain America, Hellboy, Indiana Jones punching Nazis.
That's a good one.
Wow, yeah.
Who was that?
What just happened? I don't know. We were just talking about how like there's certain artists that I like on certain characters, but I wouldn't want them to do other characters. But there's certain artists that I would they could sneeze on a napkin and I'd be like, oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. I love that. It's funny. I've always loved Kevin Maguire's art, but I've also, honestly, Booster and Beetle laughing, just having a good time together. Those two just always made me happy.
For living artists, I could give you a list. I don't think I'd ever do it though. But Leave It to Chance. You remember that series?
Oh yeah,
by Paul Smith.
Yeah,
I love that book. And I just cleaning stuff up. I found it again. I just remembered how much I loved it. I met Kevin McGuire at a show. And we were talking for a little bit, and he does $1,000 recreations of that Justice League cover, and he does all these different mashups of it. And I'm like, wow! And he did a couple that were like the second after the photo, where the characters are teasing each other, and I'm like, for $1,000, that's not outrageous. It's still $1,000. You know, Ramita Jr. doing a Spider-Man or a Daredevil. And just like, to me, that's like super iconic.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I don't know. All the money in the world.
Yeah. If you got Art Adams to do a Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So Mike, what Crystal asked? Do you think Carol Baskin, did she kill her husband? I'm gonna say yes, and I'm not even Mike.
Clearly, she had to.
She had to, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Barnes agrees.
Kevin, of course.
I don't think she was canny enough to do that. I think he did disappear himself. I don't give her that much credit.
He disappeared himself. Mm-hmm. He covered himself in sardine oil, jumped into the tiger trade.
Hey, if you were married to that, I'm just saying.
He chose it, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm going to say yeah, resoundingly yes. Absolutely.
You watched it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Franco, when are we getting a sequel to The Ghosty Owl? I don't know the answer to that question. It's written. I've written that, and I'm writing the third one, actually, as we speak. So the second one is written. It's just really Sarah's schedule and publishing. And with this whole thing, everything's very up in the air, and we have no idea what's happening. So,
do you have titles? Can we have titles?
Yes and no. So,
I'm still smiling.
Puddles is there. I think so.
The ghost and the owl and the puddles.
Kevin, stop being the nemesis.
Kevin Barnes says he is, but he's disembodied. Oh, there. See? He got an answer. Let's see. Sebastian says, I got to go, but I hope to see you guys tomorrow at Icon. All right. See you then. Kevin, Mike, a Tiger King themed murder mystery would be a good Archie story. Ooh.
I was going through old school books, and there was a tiger story. All I'm thinking is like, there's always an Archie story for everything.
Oh, well,
whatever the trend, everything.
Well, how many weird mashups have there been as far as like crossovers and team ups?
Oh god, any fad historically since the 1940s to now, it's in.
Yeah.
There's some story. The Universal Monsters, hula hoops, yo-yos.
The boy from Riverdale.
The boy from video games. Anything.
The Super Teens.
Yeah.
The video games.
The mulleted Archie 3000.
Yes. What was the Strange Mysteries?
Yeah, Weird Mysteries.
Weird Mysteries.
Yeah.
That actually was. I enjoyed that.
That was Scooby-Doo-ish. I like that.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I dug that
and
stuff.
There was a superhero team up with the Crusaders in that.
Yes. We did
Why is this in my head?
We did a free comic book day when it was the Ashcan sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the coloring for that.
Oh, did you?
There is so little freelance art stuff or writing stuff that I've done for Archie over the years, because when I first started, one of the freelancers yelled at me and started like, you don't steal work from freelancers, how dare you? And I was like, I don't do any freelance for the company, man. I'm an editor. Well, the old editor did this and that, and I was like, okay. So I just never did any freelance for Archie. People are like, this is funny. You should write a story. I'm like, no. You should color it. No. You should draw it. No. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's the perks of the biz, right? Giuseppe wants to know, do you like Billy Batson as Shazam or Captain Marvel? I like him as Captain Marvel.
I got to go with Captain Marvel.
You know what I would love? And there's no way they'd ever get the Captain Marvel name back. But I would love for the Shazam name to work somehow. Because what is it? Shazam Junior?
Yeah, well, that's
Sister Shazam. Like what's it like? Like what's the wizard's name? He's just the wizard. Like,
and
that doesn't quite work yet. And then I did enjoy the movie.
Okay.
But now there's the multicolors of the Shazam family. I thought it was too much. I dig it. But what's the purple and green and like I don't know.
That was.
I want the insanity of Talkie Tawny. I want the insanity of Mr. Mind. I the crazy villains.
I want the Lieutenant
Marvels, yes.
See, that was something that was
Uncle Dudley.
Uncle Dudley,
Yeah.
yes. That's the thing with Captain Marvel. You have such a rich history. With Shazam, we lost the trademark, and we're constantly trying to get back to that. I'm assuming they want to start building that stuff back up. But,
yeah, but Shazam is a better name.
But what do you do with everyone else, though? Like you said,
but now you have to just rethink it because there's a lot there. You could come up with another name for Shazam.
No, that's
the
true.
Wizard.
Well, actually, that would make the most sense. His powers don't derive from.
Yeah.
So, but I guess there's always the fun thing. For me, it was always the fun thing with Captain Marvel Jr. He's one of the few. He might be the only superhero that can't say his own name.
Right. Yeah, and then you need a new. What does Shazam say to become Shazam?
Yeah.
Although
maybe that's what he does. He says his own name.
Although the scene in Kingdom Come is one of the greatest use of powers of all time.
Yes.
Brilliant of Shazam fighting. I want to reread that. Shazam fighting Superman.
My issue with that is that Mark Waid can't write. He doesn't know how.
He can draw a hell of a Flash, though. He really can.
He's the best Flash artist I know.
He's terrific. I heard he's been drawing Daredevil and then a couple other books at Marvel. There's a Doctor Strange book he's drawing. And
meanwhile, Ryan Augustin is somewhere going, hey, what?
Nobody asked, but you know what I would do with because I did write Captain Marvel at one point, and if I was asked to write Shazam now, what would I do is I would make them. I would do a story where I would start them out with all different personalities. So each one of those colors would be him, but in a different form.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but nobody asked me, so I'm not going to say it.
Your Captain Marvel Shazam run with Mike Norton in the cartoony style is, I think, one of the best modern versions of the character ever.
Oh, thank you very much.
I love it, and Norton doing cartoony, I love.
I love it so much that right there in the corner, right here. Oh, right there. That's the cover to one of the issues. I have the original. I got it from Mike. Yeah, I if any of you know Mike, he's like this laid back guy from Tennessee originally, but he lives in Chicago. But I said, Mike, I want to buy one of the covers. He goes, well, that's gonna be a problem because I don't have any. I'm like, just sell them all. He goes, no, I don't. I draw digitally, so I just draw these sketches. And he showed me these blue line sketches. I wish I could pull it down from the wall, but a lot of stuff would come falling down. But I'll show you at one point. But he does these blue line sketches, and then he scans them in and digitally inks them. And he goes, you can have this if you want. And I'm like, it's great. Yeah. It's the cover. That's what I want. Yeah. I said, how much? He goes, I was going to throw them out anyway. Here, you can have it. And I'm like, okay, thanks. So
oh, God.
I have a cover. But that was one of my favorite runs on a book was, and you know why it was so much fun? Because I think it was a dead in the water book for them at this point because Mike Kunkel was just so far behind on his schedule, and they were so worried about other things that were happening within the company that they kind of left us alone. And they gave us this artist who was okay. He came from animation. He had worked on Tiny Toons and stuff like that, but he wasn't really a comic guy. And then they came to us and they're like, well, if you could have anybody, who would you want? And we're like, Mike Norton. and they're like, well, all right, ask him. So we asked him and he goes, yeah, I'll do it. And then they left us alone.
I think if you guys did, because I don't know how much kids book they're doing, but if you did a straight up superhero book, same team, Mike can draw anything, you guys can write anything, I think it would be unbelievably entertaining. If I could do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Maybe we should talk to somebody at Archie. Who knows?
Well, we don't have Shazam or Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but you got those Crusader guys.
The Super Teens?
No, the Crusaders. That's
the Mighty Crusaders?
The Mighty Crusaders.
Oh.
Well,
that could be Mighty.
What do you call them now? Red Circle, Red Hoods? What line?
We did the Dark Circle, but that's because the stories got very, very dark. But I think this would be more PG-13 than R. Yeah.
So go back to Red Circle.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like the Fox is great.
The Fox was a lot of fun. Dino's an underrated guy, man. It was him and Wade.
Yeah.
I just read that a little while ago.
Yeah,
I loved it.
You got that.
I have it here somewhere. Yeah, I just read it a little while ago.
The second one, I said I had a little bit to do with it, but Paul Kaminsky was editing it. And I was like, everyone should want to kill the Fox because he's a colossal pain in the ass and he is a magnet for problems.
He's a weirdness magnet.
So all the villains get together in the second issue and discuss trying to kill him. And those scenes where they're just talking about him and how they're acting like villains was the funniest stuff we've done. It was so great. There's a real character called the Gasser. And he just shot people with gas guns like the Sandman. And he was super obnoxious and everybody hated him. Yeah. So like some of the heroes were kind of hokey. They were all 60s created, or a lot of them were 60s created after the 40s. So they had that Batman, 66 vibe. So I always thought play that up. Make them real villains, but just play up the silliness of it.
Yeah.
Like Kite Man is working.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing with a lot of these villains. Sometimes you can have a villain that's a little off, a little wacky, a little weird, who has some sort of bizarre goal. Like if you actually look at the motivations of some of the villains,
they're all bizarre.
Yeah. Look at Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Like I want to save my wife. Like okay, we get it, dude, but this might not be the best way.
Why do you have to freeze the city to do it? I don't.
Like why is this a whole thing? But that's the thing with a character like the Fox, or if you wanted to do anything like that, play that up. Make it goofy. Make it weird. You want to get the golden chalice, you get it. Now what?
Yeah.
What's your next step?
I love the classic Electro costume.
With
to me, I would want to do a story where that kept flopping down and covering his eyes, and then Spider-Man just zips it to the back of his head. It's fine.
Yeah. No, he the static electricity from his body alone would keep that frayed out, so it would never happen.
He's trying to break it back. Pops up
I'll tell you what, though. You brought up Mike Norton. If you get him on a book, I will write it for free. So you heard it here first.
Really? How am I going to get him on a book? He's doing Grumble and all that other cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You'll never get him on a book.
Thanks.
Yeah. Another volume of Superman of Smallville would be great. Yes, Tom. I agree.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
I agree.
Thank you. Is there a creative team that you wish you could put on a title? Money's no object. You're omnipotent and can just make it happen. Ooh.
I did. I got everything I ever could have wanted. We had Mark Waid and Fiona Staples launch Archie. We had Chip Zdarsky and Erica Henderson launch Jughead, and then and then we had Adam Hughes on Betty and Veronica,
which was awesome.
How do you I could wish for a lot of other things, but it would just be greedy at this point. It just
you should.
All the stuff we did was pretty fun, and then it continued for a lot of cool stuff for a while.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I go back. Nick Bradshaw's artwork I really like. I'm really digging his artwork.
Wait. Oh yeah, he's got an Art Adams vibe.
Yeah, I think that's why I dig it so much.
Yeah, I love it.
But I would love him on it. Well, I've seen him do a couple of different things, but I think I kind of would want to see him on a Batman Flash crossover or team up. I want to see his artwork on that, I think. And me as a writer.
Yeah.
But yeah. How about Mark? What's he got to say?
What was the question? Creative team. Any creative team, any character, any title.
Any title, no cost. You just magic wand, make it happen.
Living, I would assume.
Yes.
I'll think about that for a second.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There are certain characters that I would like to see come back, and there are certain writers I would like to see what they did with them.
I would do an ongoing What If series with Tom Taylor writing it, and every 2 issues is a different artist.
Okay.
That would be good.
Nobody does alternate realities like Tom Taylor. That guy's crazy.
What would you do with like every story is 2 episodes?
Every story is 2 issues? 2 issues and you're done.
Uh-huh.
I think that.
I'd like to see somebody do something well with Blue Devil.
Oh, I like Blue Devil.
Like he's always been one of my favorites, and I feel like after the Paris Cullen and that run of it, I feel like they just didn't know what to do with him, but they kept bringing him back, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna do this with you. Now you're
I changed my answer. I want to put Nick Bradshaw on a Blue Devil book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love all the secondary characters people forget about.
Yeah.
Those are so much fun.
He was writing a Nick Bradshaw and Vader series in the 40s.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I changed my answer to that one. I want that.
Yeah, but I agree with Mike. I think there's something about the B, C, D, E level characters that there's something attractive about that because you don't have to worry. You can do things to them and their supporting staff.
Yeah.
Like there's not the same. It's not like, with Batman, like at the end of a run, it's going to be virtually the same as the beginning of the run. It's you can make these changes and make these characters do something, and elevate them. I think that's fun. I like that stuff.
All right. I like that one. Do you think there will be any cons this year? Not ones like that you're thinking of, but there already have been, like down in Florida and stuff like that. I think they had a few smaller ones, but
no, there was one this weekend. I think it got canceled.
Yeah,
a Florida con. Yeah.
I
think it's digital cons for a while, online cons,
Yeah,
like this. Sorry.
Yeah, Marvel's doing a roundtable on Avengers, and DC was doing something on something.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
DC's doing one of those fandom or something like that.
Yeah.
Huh. No, but I don't think in-person cons, because once you start hitting late in the season, late in the year, like around Thanksgiving, that time, people aren't going out to do things like that. There's too much holiday stuff to worry about.
I'm gonna say no, Sam. I think that's Beta Ray Jim. May I ask a question? You just did, Beta Ray.
Oh, yeah, beat me to it.
Giuseppe, favorite actor that played James Bond? Daniel Craig.
Mine too.
After Sean Connery.
I'm gonna go with Connery.
Well,
Daniel Craig.
I didn't really watch James Bond until Daniel Craig, and then I went backwards and watched him. Yeah, it was just never my.
You're like an onion. I'm finding all these
And
things.
I didn't watching the old ones. I enjoyed Connery the most, but I just found all of it really dated.
Well, yeah,
It's really, some of it's like very dated.
The Roger Moore stuff it was such a function of a creation of its time.
Yes.
It's that super suave, super cool, but I couldn't see Roger Moore in a fight and believe it. I could see Sean Connery in a fight and believe it. I could see him in a casino and believe it. Timothy Dalton I could see in a fight, but he wasn't calm enough. He wasn't collected enough.
Right.
I
don't know.
I believe Daniel Craig when I see him fight, and I believe he's getting hurt a lot when in the fights.
But
That's
I mean,
why I would say him.
Between the Mission Impossible movies and the current crop of James Bond, and it's like some of the best spy adventure movies ever. That last Mission Impossible was amazing. And then when's James Bond coming out now? Is it November?
Yeah, it got pushed back. It was supposed to be out already.
I think everything.
Well, I thought Black Widow's still coming out.
Yeah.
November,
a couple months, I think.
And Wonder Woman's coming out this year.
Is it still?
In November.
I hope that's
Christopher Nolan's Tenet is coming out next month.
What is it?
Christopher Nolan's Tenet is coming out next month, or at the end of this month.
I haven't seen any trailer
in theaters.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the guys from Ballers from HBO. The guy, one of the head football players is the lead.
Oh yeah.
I always have trouble remembering his name, but he's an excellent actor. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not familiar at all.
No, Ballers is good. I've seen some of it. I like it.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, he's the guy that plays Ricky, the football player who
becomes a coach.
No, that's the other guy. Did you watch the whole series?
No, you know me. I don't watch TV.
Oh man, what the? It's giving spoilers away. All right, what advice can you give to someone getting into comic book collecting? My advice is to read what you like. Read a couple of bunch of different things and see what's your fancy, and then go from there.
I would say take a look at artists that you like. But personally, I would say concentrate on writers that you really enjoy, because looking at someone's history, their evolution as a writer and an artist, is I find that stuff really interesting. and listen to what people are suggesting. If you're saying that, if you say you like Batman and somebody says that you should try it out. You know what? What are you going to do? Waste an hour of your time reading stuff? It's worth it.
Yeah.
Is he talking collecting or flipping and selling?
Well, I guess we answered the reading question, but collecting, I would, if you're gonna start collecting, and you want to go in with a bang, I would go with Action Comics #1.
That was the first. What was that? That was.
Crimson Avenger?
I think I'm not sure. It's some Superman character. I don't know.
That was fairly recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, 39, I think.
Oh, first appearance of the car.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben's about to grab his copy. No, don't take it out. People.
Yeah, no. So he doesn't have to open the vault. Art Balthazar says, "Oh yeah, man."
He's
That
a
was
world famous
question,
cartoonist.
That wasn't a question.
We like that guy.
Giuseppe chimes in with Roger Moore was too campy. I agree.
I thought he meant Alan Moore.
Both.
No, I don't think anybody's ever said that about Alan Moore.
My omnipotent team: Brian K. Vaughan and Junior.
Christopher Lee as Scaramanga. He's one of the best villains.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Oh, it's good.
Well, it's Christopher Lee.
It's Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sam June said, "My omnipotent team: Brian K. Vaughan and JR on a Detective Chimp story." Ooh. Really?
I'd do that.
I'd watch it. I'd read it.
I'd read the hell out of that.
Oh, a very good Shazam story was Tom Strong.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
It had all the campiness and fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mike Pell.
Yeah.
Art is still not asking questions, so we'll
Moving on.
My choice will be Franco written, Mike Mignola drawn, Ben ongoing. Ooh. I'd have to do a deep dive into the backstory of Ben.
The world is not ready for that.
Puddle Boy.
The Adventures of Puddle Boy. Black Widow's coming out November 1st. Wonder Woman 88 is October 2nd. Bond is November 20th. Thank you, Movie Phone, Sam.
Ooh, that's a good run of time. God, that's like a 3-4 week period.
Yeah. If we all make it by then, I'm going to go see all of those. In person? Maybe, or on demand. Frank, I want to let you know my son and I enjoyed your time. Oh, thank you very much, Giuseppe. I appreciate that. Sam, I agree with Ben. I am collecting Claremont X-Men now because of Kitty Pryde. You cannot go wrong. And if you're going to be collecting, I would say go for the original run of Excalibur if you like Kitty Pryde so much. Yes. I love that run.
Yeah, that was fun.
And even through the Cross Time Caper, that was a tight book. That was really good. Plus, it has my favorite X-Man in it.
But it started with Alan Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get a better art?
I love that book so much. It's one of my favorite runs. It was just such a fun book. Captain Britain. I just kind of wish they had his old costume. That is my only bad thing to say about that. Is I wish they had his original Britannia costume instead of the flag.
Both costumes are so cool. They should be separate characters.
Yes.
For the record, they were briefly, and they should be. Lionheart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She actually was wearing his old costume, and she had the set.
And I like that it was a different gender.
Yeah.
To break it up, like keep things moving and keep it cool.
I think with Captain Britain, I love the original design on that costume. There's something about it, the band, the mask, the lion, the amulet, everything about that was so cool.
One of the few action figures I keep on my desk.
Nice.
Who's that?
Captain Britain.
There he is.
But I do understand why they changed it.
And he's here with Spider-Man.
Superhero. He had a much more superhero silhouette. It was easier for people to say, like, okay, this guy's a superhero, especially after they did the original run with Claremont, and then they did the black and white strip in the Hulk magazine. And that's when things just got a little too weird. And it was like, we need to reinvent the character, but we want to hold on to something. So, but they also bulked him up a lot too. Which I dug. I thought that costume, the new costume, is very powerful looking. Yes. The other one looks very daredevil-y, bouncing from rooftop. Yes. Yeah. So I thought they handled that well. Frank's been doing this all night.
The best costume ever. There you go. I'm going to go with that one. Let's see. I agree with Ben. I'm collecting Claremont X-Men now because of Kitty Pryde. See?
Perfect.
See?
Ooh.
See? There you go.
Oh, yeah,
Speaking of Alan Moore, what did you think of the new Watchmen show? I haven't watched it yet, but I'm
I
gonna.
haven't watched it yet.
all right.
It's pretty damn good.
That's all I
Mark
hear.
is saying it's pretty damn good.
I've never heard someone not like it.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not one of those people that feels like the Watchmen universe needs to be expanded.
Tell him to stop talking. He's gonna spoil it. No spoilers.
But it started.
Titanic sinks.
Ah, son of a.
But you were saying that it starts kind of like the first couple episodes are kind of.
It's a slow burn, but on purpose.
Okay.
Madeline says, oddly, I'm the opposite in that my comics choices are more strongly led by the art. I'm going to agree with her.
I agree. I think if editorially speaking, artwork brings them in, writing keeps them around.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you
And
have to have strong art.
I've always chosen my books by the artwork I see on the cover, and then on the inside, and then I decide to read the story.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people who make a lot of money making covers, so you can judge it.
That's true. That's true. Hell, there's in my other job, we talk about that with wine labels all the time.
Yeah.
There's two different schools of thought with wine labels. It's either it looks great on a shelf, so you buy it in the liquor store, but for restaurants, we don't care as much. We would rather have a label that looks more professional.
Yes.
If it's a more expensive bottle of wine.
Right.
But if it's a fun, let's just, hey, I want to get a bottle
Let's
of
all
wine,
hang out, yeah.
then just do it. Orange Swift does fantastic labels. Like they're pieces of art. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we sell a lot of wine by him because of that. Or over the years I have at different places.
Wow.
Interesting. We should
Have you
get
ever
them
had
to comic
wine
cover.
and a Coke in the same class?
No, but I worked with a chef that told me a story about that I was like, ugh. He ended up going out with it was before he was married. I think he was still dating his now wife. They had this guy that acted like he was connected, that came into the restaurant all the time. And, I love your food. We got to take you out. And he's like, cool, we'll go. So they went out and big Italian place. And this guy shows up and, he's got the rings on and everything. And he's got his maul with him. And they order like a $500 bottle of wine. And this is early 90s. So now it's like $1,000 bottle of wine. And they, they're drinking it. He's like, I've never had a glass of wine like this before. It's absolutely amazing. And then the mall asked for a side of ice, and he was like, "Oh," and then, can I also get a Coke? And started mixing it, and he was just like, "What? Why would you do this?" But then he turned around and said, "People like what they like.
Yeah.
If they like it, so be it."
I saw someone put that online the other day, one social media. And I was like, that's great. I'm going to try that.
Well, one thing that some of the guys who used to work with would have was like Coke or Pepsi with milk.
Yeah,
Bill.
you know what? I had that as a kid. That was like a treat.
Really?
Old Laverne and Shirley episodes. Laverne would drink milk and Pepsi.
Yeah.
Pepsi or Coke?
Neither. I don't drink soda.
Oh. If I did, I would pick a wild cherry Pepsi.
Ooh.
Love wild. Diet wild cherry.
I
like water. I'm a water guy.
Be that guy.
I drink a lot of. I've been doing lemon water because that's who I am now.
We're going to go through these quickly because we only have a few minutes left before we all need to skedaddle here. So
when does this get good?
when we started talking and Puddles was here.
I feel like we're going to need some context with Giuseppe's comment here.
Giuseppe says, "Death of Kitty Pryde." I think from the storyline stuff that we were talking about before. And Madeline is chastising him because of spoilers. And then they're trying to tell you I was playing with my dolls before. And then Art still has no questions.
Oh, yeah.
It says, oh, yeah, comment. Let's see. Claremont or Lee on X-Men? Jim Lee or Stan Lee? You're going to have to clarify. And definitely Claremont. I'm going to have to go with Claremont. Yeah.
I was so late to X-Men that
Claremont was all I knew.
But I kind of caught as Claremont left and Lee came in. So I'm in a weird spot. Okay. So I don't know.
I don't know. To me, Claremont wrote so many seminal stories. Like
nothing exists without him. In the same way, though, you can't you can never. I wish I read them as they were coming out, and experiencing it the way people were. Yeah. Just one at a time.
Oh, that was awful though, because when I was reading comics, and I told the story before, but I would get a comic and I would buy them from the corner drugstore down the street from where my dad worked. and I would go with him on Saturdays occasionally to work, not every Saturday. So when comics came in, like I would get like that issue of Teen Titans when they went looking for the Doom Patrol, Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and then never got the sequel.
Yeah.
Or never got the next issue. So I never knew how it ended until like 3 years ago.
In high school, I think it was an English teacher, that image of Wolverine popping up from the sewers.
Okay.
Someone recreated that for extra credit.
Really?
Yeah. Pick your favorite moment from literature, and the teacher let him do that. So he drew this monster piece. It was enormous, like 3 feet, poster board kind of thing. And I was like, whoa, what is that? He's like, you read comics, don't you? I was like, yeah. I go, but I never read that story. And he goes, I'm going to introduce you to the kid. I was a freshman and he was a senior. And the kid was like, you didn't read it? What's wrong with you? And he like wrote all this stuff down to go read. I was like, oh, okay, cool, man. Thanks. And I kind of like backed into it.
In school, there was this tough jock kid who I saw read comics, and he wanted to trade with me one day. And I gave him a bunch of my comics, and he gave me one issue of the Avengers. And I was like, oh, man, I just got ripped off. Because he gave me this one issue of the Avengers. I think it was 177 or 178, both those issues, when they fight Count Nefarious.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
And spoiler, but he decimates the team. Like, Captain America can't stand, so he gives his shield to Wonder Man. Yeah. And Wonder Man gets pummeled to death almost. Yeah, and then the way he gets defeated, I'm going to spoil it for everybody. The way he gets defeated, the Vision flies up into the air, like a mile up into the air, and turns his body as hard as he can make it, like a diamond, and just drops on top of him and just knocks him out. And that's all he's able to do is just knock this guy out. Right. Like anybody else, it would have killed. And there was when he hit, the Richter scale went off miles down the road. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best issue ever. I can't believe I traded all those stupid comics for this. It's awesome. At first I was upset, but then I was like, this is the best story ever.
Comics really are the best.
Yeah.
No, Sam Johns, no Lord Helmet. I did not see you playing with your top. Oh, yeah, you didn't. Sorry. I don't know what that means. A 1 year grace period. Yeah. And we're going to end with this one. Art is still not asking a question, but he says that miniseries when Wolverine and Kitty Pryde went to Japan and fought that devil guy was pretty good. I'm gonna agree with him.
I'll agree.
All right, we got a couple more, so we're gonna go through them real quick. Let's see. MODOK walks into the store right now and threatens Marc to a fight. Who you got? I'm gonna go with Puddles on this one.
I think Marc. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Plus, MODOK.
Yeah.
You can just run behind him.
Why were artists like Kirby and Ditko able to do 3 or more books at one time, and there have to be rotating artists on books now? I just ask because it sometimes takes me out of the book. I have a very simple answer for that, and the answer is they had pens of artists working on stuff. So when I first started drawing comics, I worked for the name escapes me now. He used to draw why can't I remember his name? He used to draw the Lone Ranger. Tom. I forgot his name. Forgive me. Anyway, I was working with him and Tom Gill. I don't know why I had a brain fart. Tom Gill was the artist, and they would all be drawing different books, but they would have a stable of artists. So he would come in and draw the main guy, and then they had others that would draw the backgrounds and ink the book and things like that. And sometimes when one of them had a deadline, they would go somewhere, one of their apartments or one of their houses or whatever, and stay all weekend, and they would help draw the book. He told me a number of stories like that. So that is your answer, I believe.
But there's a few reasons too, because if you look at the complexity of costumes now versus then, the intricate detail that now, the buildings. I mean, before you would get a box and a couple of black shadows, and that was your windows. Also, you were completely relying on a different form of news distribution, which was newsstand. The direct market is a fan-based distribution system, so people are there because they want to know the artist. They want, they're super into what's happening. So, and we've proven as an audience, we will wait.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier for a publisher to get the right creative team out, wait for it to finish, and then come out with it. Other times you have a breakdown in people's lives or whatever else happens, and they can't get it out on time. Before, in the old days, that book had to go out on time. If you didn't, something took your spot and you couldn't sell anymore.
And one other thing that, like you were talking about the complexity of the costumes, what people are expecting to see on it,
Right.
Every position working has become more and more specialized. So if you don't have the same creative team, and plus there was a period of, I forgot who I was talking to at one point about it, but they were saying that if you're writing a script and you're giving it over to an artist and you don't mention a background, the artist won't necessarily put one in.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was very true. Or certain inkers wouldn't ink something unless it was clearly marked out. Vince Coletta was kind of notorious for that. But then now it's become more collaborative in some ways. But like you said, it's also, we got to get this book out. We got to get the money's on the table. Someone's going to take it. Technology
made it faster and slower.
Yes.
In the old days, you could go in and Dr. Martin Dye's color a comic, a whole issue, pretty much in a day, maybe less. You're not going to have any comic on the stands now colored in a day. You're just not. The detail alone won't allow that.
And we can also talk about the technology is changing as far as printing goes and paper stock and how that works. But it's a different world than it was when you had, and plus look at the amount of titles that are out every month now.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of titles that came out. In fact, Mike's Amazing World of Comics, if you can check on each one of their pages which comics came out on which week. If you look in like the 1970s versus now, you see that if you look at just one publisher now versus all the publishers in the 70s, you have the same amount of books coming out. There's a lot more on the stands.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna go with this last one. Let's see. Comic series you kicked yourself for not picking up when it originally came out. I'm gonna go with Action Comics #1. You guys?
I'm gonna say Planetary.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Which book do you kick yourself for not picking up when it first came out? You caught up with it later.
Detective 27.
Well, you and Frank with Action #1.
Yeah.
There you go.
Frank and I are awesome. So.
I wish I picked up that Spider-Man where the Punisher showed up and I kept it in really good condition and didn't sell it. That would have been cool.
That's awesome. That's
You're
great.
welcome,
All right,
sir.
last question. I had pizza. Finally, a question. What are you guys having for dinner? I don't know. We're going to go figure that out right now because we haven't had dinner. But I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in and sticking with us. If you like this and want to do more of these, we can do more of these. I promise we will get the technical difficulty glitches worked out. Probably not, but we'll try. For those of you that did like it, check it out. We are making all of these free on our YouTube and our Patreon page. If you like this and check out some of the other content we have on our Patreon page, please consider donating and going to patreon.com/awyeahcomics. It's one of the reasons that we've been able to keep the stores open as well. So thank you for tuning in. That's Mike Pellerito right there. That's Ben over there. He's the embodied voice of Ben. And somewhere there, I believe there's a puddle somewhere. Say goodbye, Puddles.
He's got to be used.
He refuses to answer. But this has been fun. Thank you guys for coming up. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Yeah.